It's not condemning Chinese aggression directly, but it is a significant shift in the sense that Australia was very cautious. Historically, Australia has been very cautious about India-China territorial dispute. And as your report said, that even the foreign minister's statement talked about avoiding confrontation, whereas Barry O'Farrell, actually the High Commissioner to New Delhi, has gone a step forward and talked about the changes in the status quo and warned China that this is not a good idea. In fact, he tweeted where he also talked about South China Sea. And there was a bit of a spat between the Australian High Commissioner and the Chinese ambassador in New Delhi.
So this is further evidence of a warming of relations between Australia and India. What's the catalyst for that?
Well, really, China is the catalyst. I mean, it's one of the more important reasons for Australia and India coming closer. And certainly the improvement in the bilateral relationship between India and the United States over the last sort of 15 years, beginning in 2005, that certainly has helped. Given that Australia's biggest security partner, the United States, has developed a much more comfortable security relationship with India, has certainly encouraged the Australian leadership in also following suit.
And what's in it for both countries, this renewed friendship?
As I said, the fact that China has been behaving very aggressively, not just in the South China Sea, but also, as we witnessed recently, along the line of actual control or the border between China and India. And so this really is a manifestation of a new, more aggressive approach, which some people have called the wolf warrior diplomacy by China, particularly since 2013 when President Xi Jinping took office. So China has started to assert itself much more aggressively. Chinese diplomatic language has shifted from being much more cautious to being much more, much more upfront, and not just upfront, but also really aggressive. And Australia has taken note of that. India has taken note of that. And Australia and India relationship at the moment, I think, is in the best place it has ever been. Because for the first time, we have a number of factors come together. We have the strategic interests converge, where both Australia and India are concerned about China's international behavior, and particularly China's behavior in the Indo-Pacific region. We are also interests are aligned in terms of economic interest, Indian economy, although at the moment, of course, like all economies, Indian economy is slowed. But India's economy over the last 15 years has also grown rapidly. And therefore, there are much more important opportunities for economic collaboration between India and Australia. Plus, we should not forget that there is now a sizable Indian diaspora in Australia. Over the last 10 years, we have seen a significant increase in the number of migrants coming from India, settling in places like Sydney and Melbourne. And that has also contributed to a much stronger sort of basis for a closer relationship.
Yeah, so what's the Chinese response to that closer relationship?
As we saw in the reaction from the Chinese ambassador to India to Barry O'Farrell's comments, it is clear that China is not very happy about it. Although I must say that in his tweet, in response to the Australian High Commissioner's comments, the Chinese ambassador did not directly refer to his statements on the line of actual control between China and India. The Barry O'Farrell's comments about changes to the status quo. In fact, the Chinese ambassador referred more to the South China Sea. So he seemed to be more offended by his comments on the South China Sea than on the line of actual control between China and India.
Yeah, and of course also we've heard it, as we heard in that story there, that Australia is likely to be invited to the Malabar exercises with India, Japan and the United States. How important is that?
It is important because India, remember that we have another forum where Australia, India, along with the United States and Japan come together to talk about security issues, which is known as the Quad or the Quadrilateral Dialogue. And quadrilateral dialogue first began in 2007 at the officials level. But then again, when Kevin Rudd became Prime Minister, Australia decided to opt out of it. And Quad security dialogue kind of went on the back burner. But since 2017, it's been revived. It's in fact has been upgraded to the ministerial level. For the first time, the foreign ministers of the four members of Quad met. And therefore, it's interesting that China is concerned about this particular grouping, even though Quad is still at a dialogue stage. It hasn't really moved to any form of alliance. And therefore, the Chinese would see the Malabar exercises that involve not just the three countries, US, Japan, and India, but Australia's inclusion in the Malabar exercise would be seen by the Chinese as essentially a Quad exercise.
Dr. Pradeep Taneja, thanks for your analysis.
Thank you, Andrew.